All right, welcome back to Hoops Tonight. We're going to bring my guy Carson on, and we're going to play a game of over-unders based on the NBA Finals presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. All right, Carson, you're going to name an over-under that's currently listed on FanDuel, and I'm going to tell you guys whether or not I think you should go over or under.
All right, Jason, we're going to start with the point total for game one, over under 212.5. Which side are you on?
I am on the under for this one. Couple things. First of all, both teams right now are playing at a pace under 100 possessions per game in this postseason run. What that means is when you look at things like offensive rating and defensive rating, you can count on the scoreboard reflecting slightly less than whatever that number is. So to be clear, like I've mentioned before, Golden State's offensive rating in this postseason has been great against Denver and against the Grizzlies with Ja and against that Dallas Mavericks team, which lacked a lot of defensive personnel. However, this is the best defense they've played. And against Memphis without Ja, which was the best defense they played before this series, they only averaged about 104 points per 100 possessions. During this regular season, with Steph on the floor versus Boston, Golden State only averaged 94 points per 100 possessions, and I think they're going to win game one. So I think this is going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be both teams really, really caught off guard by the intensity and the increased level of competition. I think it's going to be a low scoring affair, so I'd go under to 12.5.
Okay, now we got Steph Curry over under 27.5 points. Jason, which side are you taking?
So I think Steph is going to have big scoring nights in this series. For instance, in game twos in this playoff run, he's averaging 31 points per game. However, typically Steph in the first game of a playoff series is more interested in being the decoy and letting his teammates get involved. He has not scored over 24 points or taken more than 20 shots in any of the game ones in this postseason run. Plus, he's adjusting to the best defense that he's going to play to this point in the season. It's going to be a game where I think he's more comfortable playing a supporting role offensively. Again, not an indicator of the way he's going to score over the series. However, judging on his approaches so far in game ones in this playoff run, it's smart to go under 27.5 points with Steph tomorrow night.
All right. Draymond, points, rebounds, and assists combined over under 21.5.
This one's tough because Draymond's impact is always so different based on the matchup. I'm going to go under here. And the reason why is Boston is big, not just underneath the basket, but on the perimeter. But I expect Draymond to be locked in box outs almost nonstop with the likes of Robert Williams and Grant Williams and Al Horford. And because of that, the rebounds themselves are going to end up falling to his teammates crashing from the perimeter. In addition to that, just in general, it's extremely difficult to score against this Boston team. So even though Draymond, I think, is going to be forced to be a scorer in some respects, I don't expect him to have a massive statistical impact in this series. I think he'll have the classic Draymond impact and his ability to make decisions in the short roll, him being the defensive quarterback, his ability to bang bodies with players that are a lot bigger than him. He's going to be classic Draymond. I just don't expect big box score numbers from him, so I'm going to go under 21.5 here.
All right, we'll see if the streak of betting unders continues here. Jayson Tatum over under 28.5 points. Jason, which side do you like there?
Big shock. I'm going with the under here, Carson. I don't think people realize. I don't think people realize just nearly how much of a rock fight this series is going to be. This is, again, Golden State and Boston, two best defenses in the league this year. You know, now Boston, I think, is a better defense overall, but I mean, these are two incredible defenses. Everyone thinks of them as offensive firepower types of teams, and they are. But typically teams that commit to defense the way that they do don't have the legs to just go light the world on fire on offense. And so I expect it to be a lot more of a rock fight. As far as Tatum goes, a couple things. First of all, Golden State is a lot better defensively than people think. And I thought Luka was a great indicator of just how much of just as much of a shock it is to step into the arena and experience the different level of intensity and scheming and different looks and all the different things that you get from Golden State. And so because of that, I expect Tatum to struggle. Also, just in general, the NBA Finals are a massive stage. And I think one of the most underplayed dynamics in this series is Golden State's experience. I have seen so many times over the years, young teams just struggle with the scale and the scope and the history and the pressure and the vibe that comes with the NBA Finals. And as good as Jayson Tatum is, I do expect him to experience some of those jitters. So I expect an inefficient, sloppy game one from Jayson Tatum. So I'm going under 28.5 points.
All right, last one here. Jordan Poole over under 18.5 points and assists combined. Jason, what do you think?
So this one I'm going over. 18.5 is super low. First of all, against Boston this season in their only matchup that Jordan Poole played in, he had 32 points plus assists. And in game ones in this playoff run, so we have 3 games to take as a sample there. In game ones, he's been particularly aggressive. He's averaging 32 points plus assists in game ones in this playoff run. A couple things too. The way that Boston's going to defend is going to demand dribble penetration from Steph and Jordan Poole. They specifically need him to be very aggressive because I put in my notes, like, will he get enough minutes? That's my biggest concern, because if Boston is punishing him too relentlessly on the other end, Steve Kerr has shown the willingness, and Mike Brown as well when Steve Kerr was out, has shown the willingness to pull Jordan Poole when he's not playing well on the defensive end of the floor. So that's one of the weird kind of like variables here. However, I think they're going to need him so much on offense to get the necessary dribble penetration to keep Boston in rotation that I think he is going to play a lot. And once again, he's been aggressive in game ones. He's shown the ability to score against this Boston defense in this regular season. I think 18.5 is a very achievable number for him to hit in points plus assists.
Out of the 5 bets that we threw out there today, which of those over-unders is your favorite, Jason?
Oh, that is a very good question. Man, I think I'm going to go with Tatum under 28.5. I just think, remember when we were debating in the Dallas series, like, are they going to make Luka beat him as a scorer, or are they going to send help and put the onus on the shooters to make shots? Golden State very quickly from the beginning of that series was like, we're attacking Luka and we're going to make them make shots. Remember that Dallas got 28 wide open threes in game one. That just kind of shows you the general approach that Steve Kerr has here. Now, if I remember correctly, Luka still had a monster scoring game in that game, but he's a gunner. Luka's a gunner in a way that Tatum is not. And so I think Tatum has shown a willingness in recent games to be the guy who accepts the defensive attention and keeps things moving with the pass. So I think the safest bet for game one is Tatum under 28.5 points.